Hi everyone, and welcome back to a very special episode of Escucha. I'm your host, Megan.
And I'm Abby.
And today is a very special episode of Escucha because not only is it our 10th and final episode for the semester of fall 2024, but it is also my final episode as your guys' host.
How do you feel, Megan?
I'm sad. I have genuinely enjoyed filming all of this content for you guys to listen to, and I appreciate to everyone that has listened to Abby and I this semester.
Yeah.
And your support has genuinely meant a lot. And I don't know, I feel like this podcast is kind of like my baby.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
We've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this semester, and I'm genuinely just really proud of all of the episodes that we've come out with. And I'm also really proud of just how far Abby and I have been able to, bond, and how efficient I feel like we've become with filming, producing, and publishing all of our content as well.
Weekly, back to back.
Back to back to back.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wasn't supposed to film 10 episodes this semester, but I enjoyed it so much that I didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
And it's bittersweet. I'm very happy to be graduating Cal State Long Beach, but I'm also just sad to have to leave everyone, especially at the magazine. I feel like Enye just has such a beautiful camaraderie among all of us. It's definitely been such a safe space, and I'm not going to speak for Abby, but I feel like she might feel the same. I have felt 100% supported by the entire magazine, the entire time that I've not only written for it, but then when we started doing this podcast too. So yeah, I'm proud of our work and our accomplishments, and I am sad to go.
I'm very sad that you are leaving because this is my first semester here at Cal State Long Beach. I'm a transfer student. So I came in, I saw the job posting for a podcast assistant, and I was like, yeah, okay. I have a film background. I want to be a screenwriter. Why not? And then I got an email from Layla, who's our editor-in-chief at Enya, saying that I got the job. And Megan didn't even know I got the job until we were already supposed to be planning episode 2.
Yeah. Episode 1 was really rough without her, not gonna lie. It was just a long editing process, I would say, because I feel like Abby and I editing together, it does take quite a while, but I feel like at least I have somebody else there to keep me company, and also just to bounce ideas off of each other. Oh, should we keep this in? Should we take this out? Does this sound okay?
Yeah.
So,
and that also contributed to a lot of mine and Megan's bonding because, like I said, I didn't know anyone when I got here aside from another friend of mine who transferred with me. But Megan was a face that I would see at least twice a week, and we were so quick to get along too. I know after our first meeting, you were like, I love this girl. And I was like, stop, Megan, I love you too, girl.
No, honestly, I feel like it's really rare, and I know that it is really important for co-hosts to have really good chemistry and to get along. Not saying that you have to agree with every single thing that is brought up and talked about on the podcast, but it helps that Abby and I are very like-minded. We share a very similar sense of humor, which I love.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys have enjoyed that as well.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to be so sad to have Megan, no longer have Megan on the podcast, because I've definitely made a friend in my boss.
Oh, and I have made a friend in my assistant.
Thank you for always driving us around.
And buying us coffee.
I will treat you to Chili's.
Oh my God, it's been my pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so today, enough of the sad stuff. We are back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yes.
We have a couple of interesting topics to talk to you guys about today. Right, Abby?
Yes. Today we're going to be talking about Emilia Perez, which is a new Netflix original movie that just recently came out. And we're going to be talking about Spotify Wrapped and Latino artists charting this year.
Yes. So going back to Emilia Perez, I've seen a lot about this movie on my TikTok page. Like, it has been nonstop.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But everyone is kind of just talking about the controversy of it, which we'll get into in just a minute. But I honestly don't even really know what the plot is. Like, no one talks about what the movie's actually about.
Yeah, and I didn't even know this was like a whole thing that was going on until you brought it up in our meeting on Monday.
So Emilia Perez is about a Mexican lawyer that is offered an unusual job to help a notorious cartel boss and transition into living as a woman, fulfilling a long-held desire.
That sounds interesting.
It does sound interesting, but that's not what the internet is talking about. The movie stars Zoe Saldana, Carla Sofia Gascon, and Selena Gomez, and everyone online can only talk about Selena Gomez.
Yes. So I didn't know about all this until, like I said, on Monday. But this movie centers around Latina actresses and characters who speak Spanish, and that's where pretty much the issue is coming from.
Yeah, so as I'm not sure if a lot of you know, but Selena Gomez, she is not bilingual. She doesn't speak Spanish, at least not from what I have like read and researched. But basically the controversy is that Selena Gomez's poor Spanish accent is blowing up online because of how unrealistic it sounds to people who actually speak Spanish. A lot of people have said that it's really obvious that she doesn't speak Spanish, and have said a lot of things along the lines of like, you can tell that like when she's delivering her lines that she has no idea what she's saying.
Yeah. And
that I guess the conveying of emotions that actors, you know, usually do. There was people would say that her portrayal of her character, it was severely lacking emotion because of that, I guess, language barrier.
Yeah, not only that, it's also started a conversation with the famous Mexican actor Eugenio Derbez. Yeah, so he's very popular in Latin America.
And in the States too.
And in the States, true.
Yeah.
He's very much known in the States. But he pretty much called Selena's Spanish performance unconvincing and indefensible during a recent interview. And he continued to talk about her performance and her Spanish speaking ability to the point where Selena had to come out and respond.
Yeah, so Selena actually ended up commenting on the TikTok that was posted about like the clip from the interview that he did, saying, "I understand where you're coming from. I did the best I could with the time that I was given. Doesn't take away from how much work and heart I put into this movie."
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Abby?
You know, it's very conflicting, and I feel like it wouldn't be such a big issue had Selena Gomez's character not center a lot of her identity with Spanish speaking ability. Because I'm not sure, I haven't seen the movie, I'm not sure if her character only speaks Spanish. If she's completely bilingual, speaking both English and Spanish, then I kind of understand.
Well, I know that her character was supposed to be Mexican American.
Yes.
So there's been some discourse on like, I don't know if people are just like coming out to defend her, but some people have said that like after, you know, reading the plot a little bit more, that her character was supposed to be the way that she portrayed it. I'm not 100% sure how accurate that is though.
Yeah, because I've seen that too, like that her character actually isn't supposed to know how to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, it's like, if your character is supposed to be speaking Spanish, I feel like they should have cast someone that at least knows what they're talking about and how they're saying. Because let's face it, Selena Gomez is not known for speaking Spanish, let alone for embracing her Mexican heritage. So I really don't know what people expect.
To be fair, I guess the director that actually offered her the role, he had not really heard of her.
Oh.
Yeah. Which I thought was interesting.
Did he just see Gomez and was like hired?
I'm not sure, but I know that he didn't know how much of a following and how popular she is in the States. But I also know that the director is French, and the original dialogue written for the movie was written in French. And this is like not to defend Selena or anything like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like a lot of TikTok creators, a lot of like Latino and Hispanic TikTok creators have said that the original dialogue, I guess the translation between French and Spanish was kind of like really messed up. So that also led to, I guess, a lot of her lines being a little odd.
Because like you said, it was written by a French man, directed by a French man. And it was essentially, from what it seems to be, supposed to be a story about French people. But he decided to flip the switch and just be like, I'm going to make it about Hispanic people who I know nothing about, I guess.
Yeah.
At least that's just kind of how it feels.
I guess like my thoughts on this is, I know this has been like an issue in Hollywood, but my stance is that there are roles that actors are given the opportunity to star in.
Yeah.
That does not mean that you should accept the role.
Yeah. I agree.
Selena Gomez is not the only actress that has been accused of this. Like, I know Scarlett Johansson in one of her roles. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what? You know.
Yeah.
There has been a bunch of actors and actresses that, you know, were offered like great roles and they ended up taking it. And then after the film comes out and the public gets to see it, you know, it kind of is a little bit more obvious from that standpoint that maybe you should have passed the role on to somebody else.
Yeah. Who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, but just goes to show that it is like a thing in Hollywood where, you know, some actors take roles that maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And they get criticized for it at the end. So I guess this is just a good learning opportunity for her.
Yeah.
And I don't doubt that she did try her hardest in this movie. Because I know that she hired a bunch of like Spanish coaches.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It doesn't come across.
No, it doesn't. Because it's like, I don't know. Because I feel like you wouldn't need the Spanish coach unless you were only doing it for the money.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. If you wanted to know how to speak Spanish and you wanted that ability, especially with all the money and resources that she has,
yeah,
especially prior to this, she could have done it. And she could have done it well. But I feel it comes off in a way where she's not Hispanic until it benefits her, and that includes movies and music.
I agree. I did want to touch on the fact that Emilia Perez, he did post a public apology.
That's right.
For his criticisms on Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I think that in his interview, if you guys take a look at the clip and, you know, find it on your own time, I will say that the reporter that was interviewing him kind of initiated this discourse between them. And I think he gave in and gave her exactly what she wanted.
Exactly. And them saying like it's indefensible, I really don't think it was that bad.
So his apology reads, "Dear Selena, I truly apologize for my careless comments. They are indefensible and go against everything that I stand for. As Latinos, we should always support one another. There is no excuse. I was wrong, and I deeply admire your career and your kind heart. Emilia Perez deserves to be celebrated, not diminished, by my thoughtless remarks. I'm walking away from this with an important lesson learned. While I understand if you cannot accept my apology, please know it comes from the heart, with all my love and admiration."
Which is a nice sentiment, but he is just backtracking on what he said.
He is, and I do think that it's funny that now his comments are indefensible.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I feel like him saying that her portrayal was indefensible, I think that part was a little too far.
Yeah.
But him saying that it was uncomfortable to watch and that he had to look at other people who were watching it with him in kind of confusion, I kind of understand that because from the clips that I saw, it does kind of feel like a little bit of a mockery.
Well, because didn't you also try to listen to one of the songs and you couldn't,
girl,
and like the enunciation was so off that you had to pull up the lyrics to like actually understand like what she was saying?
I could not for the life of me understand what she was saying. I'm referring to Bienvenida, which is a song Selena had for the movie. And it just doesn't sound correct. It sounds like a lot of gibberish. I did have to look up the lyrics when I was playing it. And it just sounded like she was casting like a spell. I literally told Megan it sounded like brujeria.
She did say that.
And it was so bad, Megan asked me to turn it off.
Yeah, it just kept playing in the background, and it honestly just made me feel uncomfortable. Because, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I am, like, fluent in Spanish. However, I feel like I've learned enough to get by.
Yeah.
And, like, I listen to a lot of Spanish music. And for the most part, I don't really have any issues understanding it.
Yes.
But while this was playing, I was, like, I didn't catch not a single word.
No.
So that's Abby and I's thoughts on Emilia Perez. Feel free to go watch the movie
At your own discretion.
Yes. This is not any hate or anything like that. Just I feel like little. No, we are not sending hate. This is just a critique that, you know, I don't think Selena will ever see this, but
no, and if she does, then digital footprint for sure.
So we're going to move on to our coffee review segment
of
today's episode.
Yes.
So what coffee shop are we reviewing this week for Café con Chisme?
Okay, so for Café con Chisme this week, we are reviewing a very popular spot here in Long Beach called Alder and Sage. I have heard so much about this place. I know Megan told me about it, and I know another girl in my earth science class, I believe her name is Rebecca, shout out to you, Rebecca, who works there as a barista, and she said, yeah, we're pretty good. Now, Megan, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so I got a 16-ounce iced Mexican mocha. Mm-hmm. This is really good. And also, it's not just a coffee shop. It's actually a restaurant, and they have like a coffee bar like to the side, so you can just order coffee for takeout and then you can dine in. They're only open till 3, so it's more of like a breakfast brunch spot. Yeah, but I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I was very confused when I saw like the Yelp. I was like, wait, where's the coffee? Why are you showing me breakfast?
No, because you sent me the Yelp, because I texted Abby early and I was like, tell me what you want, because I actually live 5 minutes away from the place, which I honestly didn't even realize until she sent me the location. I said, oh. But when she sent me the Yelp, it was literally just food. And I was just like, is this even the right spot? And then I walk in and they're like, oh, are you dining in? I said, coffee to go. But no, the inside of it is really, really cute. I really like my coffee and what I got. What do you think about your matcha latte?
Yeah, so of course I got a matcha because that's what I'm known for getting on the podcast. I got their matcha latte with oat milk and
Vanilla syrup.
Vanilla syrup. It's very reminiscent of how the matcha latte at Cyclops coffee tastes, because the syrup's very mellow and you really do get that nice earthy matcha flavor, which I really, really like. And the color is beautiful. The attendant that works here at the iSpace studio, she even said it looked like a really beautiful, good matcha, and girlie was right. It's delicious.
Yeah, so I definitely would recommend it if you guys are ever in Long Beach, Eastside Long Beach, I think more specifically.
Yeah.
You should definitely check out Alder and Sage.
About 10 to 15 minutes away from campus.
Yes. Spotify Wrapped came out December 4th, and it sent everyone into a frenzy, as it usually does, because this year, I guess it was highly anticipated because it took longer than it usually did to come out. Not by that much, like I want to say maybe like a couple days. Like it wasn't that much longer, but everyone towards the end of November were getting a little antsy waiting for Spotify Wrapped to come out, because usually it comes out like November 30th, December 1st.
And what's so funny is like the day before it came out, I was literally at work Googling, when does Spotify Wrapped come out?
See? A side note though, so just like an FYI, I don't know if like a lot of people know this. I feel like maybe just because I'm chronically online.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been talking about the fact that Spotify Wrapped was actually created by AI this year. So if your Spotify Wrapped was not necessarily accurate or visually appealing, because honestly, I didn't like the way that it looked this year.
It was boring. And then my genres, what is mall goth?
I don't know. I thought last year's was way better.
My little burger.
So yeah, that's why it wasn't that great. But also I found out that 1,500 people were laid off at Spotify this year, which is 17% of their workforce.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't want to say that those two are like super correlated, because I really don't know like when all of these layoffs like occurred.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's correlated, it shows.
Is this you trying to defend your top 5?
I'm not, no. I cannot defend my top 5. I can defend 4 out of my 5.
Who are your top 5?
Okay, so my top 5 were The Weeknd, Kehlani.
Wait, are you going from 5th to 1st?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead again.
The Weeknd, Kehlani, SZA,
Okay.
Kali Uchis.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear number 1.
It was Drake.
A moment of silence.
Listen. Listen. Okay. I am a Drake fan. The love for him has definitely diminished because of the beef. So a lot of it was played, after. But before. A lot of it was played before the beef. Because also he had his album come out and then the deluxe album came out. So I was bumping that for a majority of this year.
Okay.
And then the beef happened and I'm just so many things came out and I can't defend it. So, yeah. So who are your top 5, Abby?
I love my top 5. I really popped off this year. I will say though, 2 of these people kind of don't make sense.
Okay.
So starting at number 5, it's Harry Styles.
Okay.
That to me doesn't make much sense. I am a Harry fan. I love him. I just don't remember listening to him that much this year, but I could be wrong. Harry's House is my favorite album. Anyways, number 4 was Boy Genius.
Shocker. Said sarcastically.
I love Boy Genius so much. And so my top 3 was, my number 3. My number 3 was Mitski. I saw her twice this year, so that makes sense. Number 2 was Phoebe Bridgers.
Also not surprised.
No, I love that woman. I'm wearing her t-shirt right now.
Yeah.
And my number 1, I had to go back to my roots. It was 21 Pilots.
Dun, dun, dun. Shocker. The ultimate plot twist. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it was not a plot twist. And I'm not surprised because when the social media team for Enye_LB, who you should be following, by the way, posted our pictures introducing the team, the song I chose was 21 Pilots.
Of course it was.
And it's so funny because I was the only one that didn't have a song in Spanish.
That's wild because my top song was in Spanish. My top song was Igual que un ángel by Kali Uchis featuring Peso Pluma. Banger. Love that song. So I brought up Wrapped because the Latin artists actually have been dominating Spotify this year.
Yes. So the top 5 Latin artists of 2024 were Bad Bunny, of course, Peso Pluma, Fade, Karol G, and Junior H, all of which are reggaeton artists except for Peso Pluma.
And according to Google, Bad Bunny has been Billboard's top Latin artist for the last 6 years. His collaboration with Fade on Pero Negro has been one of the biggest hits this year, and it does show how powerful collaborations between Latin artists can be.
Yeah. And then didn't Fade just invite Bad Bunny on a stadium tour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
With Karol G, right?
Yes.
In Colombia.
Yeah.
Speaking of Karol G, she was also the top most streamed female Latin artist this year, making her the most listened to female artist for the last 5 years in a row as well.
She's been doing her big one.
She has.
Well, that is all the topics that Abby and I have for you today. I just wanted to say a quick final goodbye to everyone, and I just want to thank Teresa Puente, who is the faculty supervisor for Enye, for allowing me to be in charge of this podcast this year, or this semester.
Yeah.
And I'm just so thankful for the opportunity, and I hope that, I have met her expectations and hopefully exceeded them. And I just also want to thank everyone at Enye for all of their love and support for the past, I think I've been involved with Enye now for almost a year. Yeah, because I wrote for them last semester.
Okay.
But yeah, honestly, it's been real, and it's been great. And yeah, thank you to everyone, and I love you all.
Thank you, Layla, for giving me this job.
And hopefully you find someone just as cool as me for next semester.
Never.
I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah, no. The bar is set pretty high. And not just for who's going to be a host, but for the standards of this podcast. And I owe you a lot for this experience, Megan. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for being my, my sidekick,
It was fun. I don't know who else would do this with you.
Well, thank you to everyone who has listened to not only this episode, but to all of our prior episodes as well. Thank you for all the love and support. And Abby, we'll see you next semester. Bye, guys.
Bye.